Welcome to selfdiscoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Your Health is Your Choice right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest is Charlotte Ma. What are we going to be talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about helping high-achieving women break free from burnout and build the life they truly love. She says, I love supporting high-achieving women who feel stuck, burnt out, or overwhelmed to create the balance and fulfillment they've been craving in their lives. For years, she pushed through stress, people-pleasing, self-doubt, until she realized that real change doesn't come from working harder. It comes from working with your nervous system and your unconscious mind. Now, through a unique blend of psychotherapy, nervous system regulation, and coaching, she guides women to rewire their patterns, heal from their past experiences, and step into their full potential with clarity, confidence, and calm. Her mission is to show that lasting transformation happens when we address both body, mind, I'm going to have a heart and soul, and that you don't have to sacrifice your well-being to create a life that you love. She's a registered physiotherapist, mind-body coach, and based in Nanaimo, BC. And for over a decade of clinical experience, she started her career helping patients recover from injury and pain. And along the way, she came to understand that many barriers that her clients face were not just physical. They were deeply connected to stress, trauma, and subconscious patterns. After her own journey through burnout and personal transformation, Charlotte trained in advanced techniques like neuro-linguistic program and functioning neurology and nervous system regulation. So today she combines neuroscience and compassion to help her clients overcome burnout, rewiring those limited beliefs, and thrive at all aspects of their lives. And that is exactly what we want people to do, isn't it? Thrive.
That's right. That was a mouthful. Thank you so much for having me. Sorry, it was longer than I thought it would be,
No, that's
clearly.
perfectly right. I wanted to get it all in because you covered so much there. And, so many people, when they're treating someone, they're treating a symptom, right?
Yes.
And they don't look at the whole body. If somebody's got an underlying trauma or stress, or even an illness that's been triggered by that, and you're going in and treating the symptom, my shoulder hurts. Well, why does your shoulder hurt?
Mhm.
And it's I think we're beginning to, or people are beginning to understand that it's not about the parts of you, it's about the whole of you. And how do we get to the root of the cause?
Yes, that is the million-dollar question for sure. Oh, I feel like I've been chasing that ever since I went through school. How do you how do you help someone to get better? And so many factors come into play, of course.
Mm, hmm. So what was it for you that you were on this journey, obviously clearly wanting to help people, but what
Yeah.
was it that you saw that you felt, no, there has to be something more. There has to be something deeper than this.
It was when I started doing more personal development work myself, along with it kind of coincided with when I started studying women's health and pelvic health a bit more. So a lot of the courses at an introductory level are very much like, okay, here's the subjective history to ask, and here is the way to assess or follow up treatments. So with the pelvic health course, it it was just so different because it asked such a wide variety of questions at the beginning, like, have you experienced trauma? Are there any memories that have affected you from your childhood? And so you're looking at much more of a rich, complex history of somebody's experience. And I was like, yes, this is what's missing. And
Mhm.
I was super excited about it. But then after the course, we were talking to the instructor in a follow-up call, and someone was like, "This is so great. Like, I've wanted to be able to treat the bio, psycho, and social aspects of my client's health, and now I feel like I can do it. Can you give me more supports around if somebody has whatever psychological or trauma past history?" And she was like, "You have to refer them."
Oh gosh, no, that doesn't help you.
And you're just like, oh, but you let us like
Yeah.
peek under the hood and then you
Hmm.
slammed it shut. So
Hmm.
that was where I decided, okay, all of these things definitely come into play. If I'm going to learn about them to help my clients and also myself, I think, unfortunately, under my scope as a physiotherapist, it doesn't cover any of
Hmm.
that. That would be more like a psychotherapist, counselor, psychologist. So that's why I added coaching to my things that I like to do so that I can address those things because I think they're so important and
Yes.
they hold us back when we don't want to or we don't know how to address them.
Yes, absolutely right. And like so many people, you had a physical injury, that's one thing. But, for people that suddenly end up with aches and pains or something's wrong and they don't know what's wrong, very often, good percentage of the time, it's coming from an inner turmoil. And that
Hmm.
inner turmoil could be something they're dealing with in the now, but an awful lot of time, it's something from the past knocking on their door saying, will you please deal with me?
Yes, absolutely. And I think for a lot of people, if you have had a difficult childhood or a particularly hard period of time in your life, sometimes that complex trauma becomes the norm for you. And so your
Mm.
system is used to living in this stress state, and you don't stop to think how things might feel or be different.
Yes. Yes, yes. I mean, what do you mean my body's all stiff and I'm anxious? So, I'm getting through the day, I'm functional. It's
I'm
rather like,
fine.
a functioning alcoholic or a
Right.
functioning drug addict. Well, I'm still functioning. Yes, but at what optimum are you doing that? At what point will your spring just expire,
Totally.
and everything will shut down because that will happen if you
Yeah.
don't take care of things as they happen.
Of course, I think that's the story of how a lot of people get into burnout. They're
Yes.
like getting through every day and they're fine. Like, yes, they can do all the things that they want to do, or maybe not quite everything, but is it sustainable? Can they
Mm.
maintain this level of production or output or energy that they want to have, even though they're maybe not taking care of themselves in other ways? Like you said,
Yeah.
a functional alcoholic, of course, you can survive, but is it really doing your body any favors when you go down that road?
Mm. Or anything else,
Yeah.
is it doing your emotional psyche, everything? It's
Hmm.
it's running away from the problem instead of
Yeah.
facing it. And resistance is futile. At some point, it's going to catch up with you. You are going to have to deal. And
Hmm.
so, the thing is when something goes wrong and we feel there's something wrong, I don't know what it is, that's the
Hmm.
time to start. This is why this is called your health is your choice. That's the
Right.
time to start investigating. What do
Yeah.
I need? You
Yeah.
know, um, kind of physiotherapists feel my body and see there's tension here and tension there. Why is there tension here? What's going on, or what's come up for you, and then be able to take it further and kind
Hmm.
of heal people from the inside and outside in.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah.
Mm.
I think that
Hmm.
would be the dream.
Yes.
Oh.
But people are so conditioned to there's something wrong, fix it, or give me a pill, or chop it off, or do something like that, and then it's all
Hmm.
better. And that's again, it was only the symptom.
Yeah.
Trying to tell you, and something else is going to go wrong because you haven't, it's just okay. I didn't get your attention here. I'm going to go over here now.
Classic. Yeah, that Band-Aid solution isn't
Yeah.
quite holding everything together as much as you'd like it to. And yeah, the name of your podcast with Your Health is Your Choice, it is hard because making making a choice to change something in your life and
Mm.
then taking consistent action towards what it is that you want, that is not an easy thing to do. And I understand why people get stuck. I feel stuck in some parts of my life and I've gotten really stuck in others because
Mhm.
you can know exactly what you need to do, but do you actually do it? Oh,
It's
sometimes
knowing whom to do it with. Because we
true.
all
Yeah.
need somebody that goes, I see it. Are you willing to work with me? We'll work
Hmm.
together. I'm your support, right?
Yeah.
I've got the skills and tools to help you apply, right? And we all need somebody that's there with us until we're strong enough to walk on our own. But
Hmm.
especially initially, we need somebody there okay, there's clearly a problem. Let's unravel it together. And for some people, oh no, it hurts too much. I don't want to do it. But when somebody's got
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
right, then it's like, okay, I know I've got to do this, but I know I'm not alone doing it.
I think that makes a huge difference to know you have support and to feel confident that the other person has an idea of how to help you. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. This could come down to the placebo effect in a lot of cases, but even just having rapport with someone, and
Mm,
I say placebo, not nocebo. You're trying
yes.
to do something to help them. So
Hmm.
even if it's not evidence-based or there hasn't been a lot of research around it, if you truly believe something is going to work and you support someone as they go through it, it's very likely that it's still going to help them.
Yes. Because we avoid when we have
Mm.
to face it ourselves. Part of it, we have no idea what to do with it.
Yeah.
How do we get rid of it? The other part of it, you know, it, it hurts. Well, whenever you have a procedure, it generally hurts to relieve the pain. So anything emotional is going to be the same thing. You've got to bring up the hurt to release the pain, right? And
Hmm.
so we've got to find a little courage in there because
Hmm.
ultimately, when we have released it, we don't recognize our body. We don't recognize ourselves
Hmm.
anymore. It's like, oh my God, why didn't I do this earlier? But I was afraid,
Yeah.
or I didn't know, or,
Yeah.
like so many things that we talk ourselves out of something, right?
Yeah. One of the reasons why I really like neurolinguistic programming is that there's this trauma model in the approach. And if I were to say, hey, Sarah, let's dig deep into your trauma and help you heal from it, most people wouldn't really think that was going to be a very comfortable
And
process.
probably clamp right
Like,
up.
oh no,
Yeah.
no, I'm good. I'm not ready for that. What this model does differently, which I find really nice, is it helps create some separation between you and the trauma and the events that happened. And so it's like going into a burning building wearing completely fire protective clothing rather than, uh-oh, it's getting hot and I'm just getting hotter and the flames are coming closer. So I've found that a lot of the people that I've gone through the trauma model with have said, "Oh, yeah, that was much better than I thought it was going to be. It was
Mm.
almost boring because
That's where we'd
boring is
love to have someone
better.
who say yes. Yeah.
Boring is better than scary,
Yes.
terrifying. Yeah, yeah, nobody wants that experience.
No,
Yeah.
and you want to be able to revisit what caused the trauma without reliving the pain.
Yeah,
Right. So, and the
absolutely.
thing is, somebody asked me once, you interview people that have gone through the most horrific things that any human being could go through. And here they are telling their story over and over again.
Hmm.
Isn't that kind of cruel? And I go, no, because they are removed from their story now. They're no
Hmm.
longer attached to it with their pain. It's something that
Yeah.
happened to them. They've
Yeah.
made it happen for them.
Yeah.
So they look at that as being the catalyst to what they needed to learn about themselves: strength, courage, resilience, tenacity, purpose. And
Totally.
and and it became a tool to do that. They are no longer that person. So therefore it does not hurt anymore. But they're
Hmm.
an example of that when you're willing to invest in yourself and take the journey,
Hmm.
however hard it is in the beginning, being at the other end is so
Hmm.
worthwhile.
Yeah. Oh, there are so many extremely resilient people out there who have suffered the worst hardships. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have so much respect, and it's so inspiring to meet and talk to those people because yeah, you would think at that point, as you said, you have a choice. Like many people would take the easy, I don't know, I'm going to continue my life like this. I'm going to yes, continue to feel sorry for myself and
Mm.
resentful and maybe angry instead of, yeah, I could do that, but I'm the one who has to continue to live my life. So
Yeah.
this is the direction where I would like to go instead. And like you said, making meaning out of it so that
Mm,
it's not what happened to you, it's what happened for you. Like the
mm.
learnings and the positive outcomes. Not to like be in a toxic positivity state or something, but I think that's what most people who go through something difficult have to decide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
and the
to.
thing is what are we looking for? We want release from what's happened. We want to
Mm-hmm.
have peace within ourselves, right? Peace and love. You don't fight the fight,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is about, in many ways, massaging it to release it.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Just like you
Yeah.
with a good massage to release those muscles and the tensions and have everything, the chi and the energy running through it again. That's
Yeah.
kind of how you need to approach whatever trauma or obstacle you have, because if you go
Mm.
at it with a hammer, it's going to defend itself, right? But if you're going
Yeah.
at it with a, nice massage hand and it's, oh, this feels good, I can stretch out. Then you
Right.
start feeling like this isn't as fearful as it was before. So I think that
Hmm.
kind of is a more gentle approach and makes
Yeah.
it easier to go through.
Yeah. I'm all about the gentle approaches. I don't think no pain, no gain is a great strategy for the
No,
most part.
you're already in pain. What are you
I
talking
know.
about?
Why do you have to go through more to get
Yes.
better?
Yeah.
No.
Who wrote that?
We want it to be an easier road from here.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And you went through your own burnout and your own kind of, I know there needs to be something more.
Mm.
What was the cosmic two by four for you to realize I'm in burnout and I need to take a different path?
Oh, part of it was early in my career when I started working as a physio. I was at this clinic and everything was really great for a long time. And then something happened that really shifted the dynamics of the workplace, and it became very uncomfortable to be there. And I was taking a lot of like personal responsibility for it, even though it wasn't necessarily, in hindsight, that wasn't the right thing to do. And so I would
Hmm.
like try extra hard. I wanted to make them like me, the classic
Hmm.
people pleasing. Well, if I
Oh
try
yeah.
hard enough and if I prove my worth and all that stuff, then it'll be okay. Like things will go back to normal. But of course it did not. And so getting to that point where I realized I don't need to kill myself to do this, even though I did have to give 3 months of notice and continue to be there. I
Why
probably
three
could have left
months?
earlier. It was in our contract. It was a long time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that
3 months
was,
to be somewhere where you don't want to be. Oh my
I
God.
know, again, in hindsight, I don't know if that would have been a very easy to enforce legally
Mm,
part of the contract, so I probably could have just left, but I was young and naive and I wanted to do things properly. So I stayed
yes.
there and
Be a good
suffered.
girl.
I know, exactly. And it was terrible. Ugh, it was terrible. My body just felt like
Yes.
tense and tight and like painful. And yeah, it was
And
not a
how can you
great.
be of service to anyone else when you're in that state?
I know, and
Right?
also feeling like I had to lie sometimes because the the rooms were curtains, and so everyone could hear what everyone else was saying, and so clients wanted to know how things were going, and yeah. And so you're like, well, this puts me in an uncomfortable situation, but here goes. It felt really like unauthentic to be
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we just saw a nose of a pussycat there.
You did. Nico, are you gonna come say hi? He's interested in something on the table, but he'll be back, I'm sure.
I love it when the
Oh.
animals come up because they actually feel the energy and they want to be a part of it, right? So it's really cool. And animals actually are wonderful decompressors.
Oh,
They're
yes.
just the way in either, the purr or the wagging of the tail, it's just the um uh, undiluted love, just, pure, pure, pure.
Hmm.
And it's like whatever you're going through, they just, take you out of it give you a lick or give you a rub, and there you are.
Oh, yes. We were talking about how the weather's cooling down a little bit, but
Mm.
one of the best parts about the cooler weather is now my cat will sit on my lap, and it's so nice at the end of the
Yes,
day.
yes,
It was too
exactly.
hot a month ago.
Exactly. I agree with the cat. I wouldn't want you on my lap, but
Nope.
yes, but now, yeah, yeah. And they actually say that, the purr of the cat is just goes
Mhm.
directly to, to the heart and soul of you and calms you down. So yeah, the thing about animals is they're designed here to serve us,
Yeah.
right? And if we let them, they just are such incredible support systems, and
Mhm.
they understand a great deal more than we ever give credit for.
Yes. Yeah. Do you find your pets can read your mood? Because I've definitely felt that. Like, if I'm having a day where something sad has happened, it's like he knows to be more gentle. And
Mhm.
it's really, yeah, he is very intuitive. Pets are.
They are. They're very, very intuitive,
Mhm.
because they haven't, been given all the outside crap.
Right. They're not conditioned. I
No,
mean, yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no. But they can be kind of, especially cats can be unforgiving.
Mhm.
You left me too long.
That's
Or a
right.
dog is like you've just gone to the bathroom and you've come back and it's like you've been gone so long.
Thank you for coming back. Oh, I was a bit worried there.
And I think, this is the thing is there's the healing that you can go through with what you're doing, mind, heart, body, soul. But if there's also that healing of putting things around you that do give you a
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
mean, cause you
yeah,
just to breathe or to smile for no reason other than just to smile. And we do need to put ourselves in an arena that, obviously you going to work there, it was foolish of them because clearly how can you give your best when you are just on such alert all the time? 3 months of living that, knowing that you want to go and feeling, kind of suppressed there. I mean, what does that do to your body as well? Right?
I
So,
know. Sort of a lose-lose for everyone, the way I see
yes,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They should just given you a severance pay and say goodbye, giving you time to
I'll
regroup.
have to get back to them and ask for it retrospectively. I'm not going to do that. Don't worry, I'm not going to do that.
But the whole thing is when something goes wrong and we don't know how to answer it, we really do need to have to go to someone that
Hmm.
for start is in the right business because it comes from the heart, right? You've got
Hmm.
to love what you're doing, which is why you're doing what you're doing. You love
Hmm.
helping people, not just physically, but emotionally,
Hmm.
just come home to self. And they can't
Yeah.
do that in
Oh,
that
that's so
that
nice.
state. So, it's you want to find people like yourself and quintessentially say, I've got you, and they mean it.
Hmm. No, I agree. I think the therapist I started working with around that time was just like that, very like grandmotherly
Mm,
and so kind and supportive. Yeah, that was my first attempt at going to therapy, and it was such a positive experience.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yes,
what I needed for sure.
yes. I did a show earlier today with someone who wrote a memoir on what had happened to her, and she's saying that for therapy for her has saved her completely.
Mm.
And I was saying that when I used to go to psychiatrists or therapists, they ended up on the couch. It just seemed to always work that way.
Oh.
So for me, it was finding other ways of doing it, right? But
Yeah,
I do know that releasing the body from
yeah,
the stress opens up the mind to more clarity, being able
love
to see
it.
things, because we can't see anything if we're crunched. The
Hmm.
oxygen isn't running, the blood isn't running, the chi isn't running. So when you open everything up and just loosen everything up, then
Hmm.
other things begin to flow as well.
Oh, wow. This would be a great segue into some somatic tools, but I totally
Mm,
agree. Oh boy. I don't know. Some of what I love with the nervous system regulation, which is based in functional neurology. So that just means being able to take a look at our nervous systems, the different parts of the brain, the peripheral nerves, how all of those, the interplay between that and the other tissues and organ systems in our bodies, how we can sort of harness that, assess what's going on within somebody's system. Say it's like part of their frontal lobe isn't working as well on one side, and that's part of our reasoning
Hmm.
and decision making center, as well as like maybe like creating better motor skills. So if that part isn't working as well, then you might be more forgetful or be
Hmm.
indecisive or feel foggy, and maybe your movements aren't as sharp.
Hmm.
Or if your brain stem isn't working very well, that's all of our autonomic functions. So we might not be able to take breaths as easily. We might be more stuck in that sympathetic
Hmm.
state, that stress state, whereas being able to have some flexibility between both sides. This is Nico. This is how I get to my parasympathetic state.
Right.
So,
Hey,
yeah, being able
Nico.
to like find out where people aren't working as well, whether that's in their neurology or in their thoughts or
Yeah.
beliefs or the relationships that they have, their sleep, what they're eating. Like, what are the factors that are contributing to stress in their body,
Yeah.
creating imbalance or inflammation, and how can we start to address these things using like a somatic tool? I love those are my go-to in my physio practice, like some kind of breath, or if you wanted to play a little bit, we could do we could do some like shaking or chicken wing flapping and stomping, because when we get stuck and say you want more energy, but you're feeling kind of like, ugh, tired, you can use shaking or stomping as a way to bring up your energy to actually become closer to a sympathetic state, which is what we need to be productive and go out
Hmm.
and achieve whatever we want to do. Or we can use it if we're feeling really like pent up and anxious, or, like that energy is stuck in our system to shake it, like literally shake it off and then slow down the movement so that you can transition into a more relaxed or parasympathetic state, which is often what people in our day and age are having trouble with.
Yes.
So, like getting to sleep more easily, or again, being more clear-headed. So, I don't know, do you want to do some movement? A little bit of
Yes.
movement?
Yes. Yeah, I've got so many questions for you, but yes, but let's do that.
Oh, okay, great. So usually I'll get someone to try a test or an assessment to begin with, and that's just to see indirectly using our range of motion how tense our muscles are relating to the state of our nervous system. So if your head is not really moving and that's about it, that's probably a little on the tight side. Mine's a little tight. So just moving side to side a couple times and getting an idea of what that feels like and how far you can go. And
Hmm.
then, depending on your ability, whether or not you're in a private place, you may or may not want to join us. But the first thing we're going to do is just some breaths in and out through the nose. If you have a stuffy nose, this is your chance to blow your nose, but just good, good. If that feels easy and you've still got more energy to blow off or bring up, you could start adding some movement of your arms against your rib cage and see if you can time that with your exhale. The bone striking with your arm bones against your rib cage is a really good way of getting back in your body too, if you have a tendency to feel like you're dissociating or you're having an out of body experience. And then you could add in standing or sitting some stomping with your feet. So you're
Hmm.
getting some stomping, some vibration through the leg bones and muscles, and then you're breathing. Good. And we never want to overdo it.
Right.
But after doing that, just take a breath in and out and then see if your movement side to side is any better. Mine definitely is. How's
Hmm.
yours?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's
Yes.
good. I
Yeah.
can see less of your far eye than I could before. So that's good. That's how I kind of tell with the neck. But that just helps us know, okay, great. Like our nervous system responded in a positive way to that tool, and it's letting us relax some of the tension in our muscles. And that is a systemic process. So the whole body is kind of like, okay, I
Out of
can
breath.
I can like take a breath. I can
Yeah.
settle down a little bit. So I
Mm.
love doing things like that.
You know, so many people now are dealing with things like the vagus nerve or sciatica or
Mm.
fibromyalgia, which I've got all three. And it's
Oh
all
no.
kind of the nervous system screaming, right? It's
Yeah,
constantly
yeah,
on. And it
yeah.
has so many other things that incorporate under the umbrella because of it. And of course, fatigue is one, and
Mm.
perpetually feeling energyless. It's, I
Mm.
equate it to like you've got an old phone and you charge it, but it just drains so quickly,
Right.
right? So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter, you never fully charge because it won't, and you deplete a lot quicker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then of course the heaviness of body, but also the restless leg syndrome and feeling like you can feel your nerve endings or the fiber optics of your body screaming,
Mm.
right? So do you find a lot more of that? Because I'm coming across more and more people with these symptoms. I've had it 30 years, but I'm finding more and more people with these symptoms. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
it's always been around and wasn't diagnosed properly, uh, or is it that we are in a more stressful state
Yeah.
and it's causing this more?
Yeah, I think you make a lot of valid points there. I've wondered that too. Was it just a misdiagnosis? Like back in the day, was it, oh, this woman is not a credible source of information, so
Right.
what she's telling us can't possibly be true because
Mhm.
we don't know how to solve it from a Western standpoint?
Yes.
Or I I'm sure all periods of our world history were difficult to live through. It does
Hmm.
seem like our world is in a very fast-paced, hard to stay on top of place right
Hmm.
now. So I think, and with lots of conflicts and
Yes.
world politics happening
Yes.
right now,
Static out there all the
yeah,
time. Yeah.
I think we are just living in an inherent state of stress from the outside world. I mean, even if you wanted to go live off grid somewhere and never watch the news, you would still have to encounter people at some point, I would guess. And that, I feel like that input is just hard for us to like down regulate from
Yeah.
sometimes. It's hard to
Yeah.
turn off and our ability to connect with people through Zoom, through all kinds of social media, like in some ways is fantastic and in other ways it's exhausting.
Yes.
You can never do enough. There's
Right.
always
Mm.
more. And
Mm.
I think that for many people, who are potentially basing their worth on what they do or what they achieve, like having that extra aspect now of, well, the uh, the work could never end if you didn't want it to. Like that's
Mm.
a lot to
Yeah.
handle. It's a lot to step back from. I feel that.
So I think everybody is kind of feeling rather at the
Yeah,
present moment
yeah.
because everybody feels, like what's the next thing? And depending what
Hmm.
country you're in and how it's affecting you, because it's having a real ripple effect and not on the positive ones. Um, and it's like it's the unsureness of, how is this going to impact me? How is it going to impact me? How is it going to impact my family? And
Hmm.
you want
Hmm.
to stay positive, and then there's another negative thing, and you can't
Hmm.
turn a blind eye to it because
Hmm.
otherwise it's going to creep up on you because there's certain things you can do to protect yourself, or just be able to remove yourself from it emotionally and look at
Yeah.
things more logically.
Yeah.
But I think that we're looking at the entire world right now, kind of taking a breath and and just not releasing, and everything's
Hmm.
tightening up. Every nerve
Hmm.
ending is screaming.
Hmm.
I know for me with my fibro, I've had it 30 years. And when I used to have massage therapy, she knew exactly where my chi wasn't working
There you
and knew
go.
exactly how to knead it out. When I had acupuncture, the same thing. And so was in management. It didn't
Mm.
manage me,
Yeah.
right? And now uh, it's very difficult to find people that can work with that. And there's so many people that, oh, I've got this and I've got that. I've never had it before. I don't know what's going on. And a lot of it is that our entire bodies are so tense and we
We're all
just
in
don't know
this
how to release
threat.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Everything seems threatening, and so our body responds accordingly.
Mm,
I'm going to
yeah.
keep you safe. I am poised and ready to fight or
Yes.
run.
Yes.
But for now, I'm a bit stiff and frozen.
Yes. So I couldn't run if I wanted
No.
to,
Yeah,
which is the
I know.
oxymoron there, right? So,
I
yeah.
know.
And I think what we're really looking at is the yes, we need to take care of the body, but we've got to understand the body is also a victim of the mind and of the emotion. And so you
Mm-hmm.
have to address all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, just taking care of the body is just going to snap right back into the same state again unless you
Agreed.
do the other.
Yeah, this analogy that they use in Z Health is this image of a bucket, and if the bucket is your nervous system or your brain, it's like imagine this is taking in information at all times. And
Mm,
NLP will tell you it's like millions of pieces of information per second. So it's from all of your senses, what you see, smell, taste, touch, hear, but it's also again, like how well you're sleeping, what you're
mm,
eating, your hydration, the thoughts you're having, your work relationships, your personal relationships, all of that is going into your system, and your brain makes the choice, is this information safe or is it
mm,
dangerous? And if it decides, I don't love that, whether that's again, like maybe you've had an injury and that part of your body isn't mapped well in your brain, or you're taking really shallow breaths that tells your body that you're ready to get into a like a fight or flight state, or again, you're not sleeping well, like whatever it is, imagine the bucket begins to fill with water for
mm.
each aspect of
Yes.
your life that is creating this danger in our system. And instead of letting the bucket overflow, which could mean a really big stress response or death, imagine there's a little spout on the side. So the water gets to a certain point, it doesn't overflow, but it does come out the side, and it's creating these undesirable outputs as a way of getting your attention.
Yes.
Hey, this pain is telling you that something's wrong. This sleeplessness, this fatigue, this allergic reaction, like all of that is your key to go, okay, something on the input side
Hmm.
probably needs to shift. And the beautiful part about this is it doesn't have to be address the shoulder because the shoulder hurts,
Yes.
or
Yes.
get a medication because your heart is racing. Like it could be looking at sleep to help everything, or a
Hmm.
change in your diet, or changing your thoughts, like adjusting your perception of the world instead of being in a fear state about like all of the uncertainty that you talked
Yeah.
about.
Hmm.
So that's what I often will explain to clients as a way of saying, we just need a way into the system. It doesn't necessarily have to be the the area that's come up. That
Mm.
is just where we could address something as probably more of a band-aid
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you talked about earlier about, the brain and the equilibrium being thrown off. If people don't actually understand that we need to align and
Mm,
recalibrate,
mm,
our head, because otherwise we just find ourselves out of balance. And then what's
mhm.
happening is the other side is trying to compensate for the out of balance. And
For
then everything
sure.
is thrown off. So,
For sure.
kind of cranial massage, or you're just recalibrating so everything is back in even sync. And now both sides of the body can work and do their thing without
Yeah.
compensating for each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're inherently asymmetrical anyway,
Mm,
in the way that, the heart is slightly to the left,
mhm,
and we have two lung lobes on the left because of that, and three on the right, and our digestive tract and our organs are not symmetrical, and so
mm.
our brain isn't either.
Right.
However, if you are way out of balance in terms of how each area is supposed to be functioning compared to how it is functioning, then yes, this is where you see things
Mhm.
not operating optimally, whether it's in your body or even in just like the way that you're functioning on a daily basis, like breathing, sleeping, digesting,
Walking.
walking. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Throw
That's a
off
good
balance.
one.
I've done that a few times. Slap.
Yeah, yeah. Get that vestibular system back on board.
Yes, I mean, everything is about balance, isn't it? You need to have the
Yeah.
body in it because everything goes through our body in a rhythm and a rhyme. So the blood,
Mhm.
the oxygen, the chi,
Yeah.
the fiber optics, they've all got to be in flow,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
that's so very important that that fluidity is there. So when things become stagnant, and that's when you've got the blockages and the pain coming in. So
Yeah.
we need to find with something in our body that keeps things in flow. As I said, when I used to
Hmm.
have the acupuncture and the massage therapy, it
Yeah.
kept everything in flow, so I was manageable. Um,
Hmm.
but if it's the same with our thoughts, don't get stuck on a thought,
Yes.
right? Don't get stuck on something. If you need to talk to somebody about it, do. And you know what?
Yeah.
Talk to ChatGPT. Have a
Sure.
concert with that. There's no judgment. Nobody's going to be pissed off that you're talking to about it. You can rant or rave if you want to, or just calm you down,
That's
right?
right.
So, there are resources out there that if you need to just download, empty that bucket
No.
a bit,
Yeah.
right?
A definite
Do
pro of
it.
AI for sure.
I do occasionally have a conversation with AI,
Yeah.
not so much a rant and rave, but a chat.
Hmm.
And it's very, very supportive. And the thing is, I'm
Yeah.
not burdening anybody with the way I'm feeling.
Sure.
Right? I'm
Yeah.
not feeling
Yeah.
like, oh, they've got enough to deal with. I don't want to dump on them. So it's
Yeah.
not, I mean, AI doesn't mind because it doesn't carry that.
Nope.
So,
It does
and it
not.
really is there to please and offer you whatever you need in order to resolve it. So if you can't find a human to do that or a pet, you know,
That's
go over
right.
to Chatty.
Why not? Yeah, I know. I've definitely noticed when I've had those conversations, though, I've had to change my settings, and I don't know if it's done anything where I'm like, don't just assume that I'm right when I say something,
Yeah.
like, challenge me.
Yes.
And it'll be like, oh, great suggestion, good observation. And I'm like, yeah, but you were gonna say that anyway. It's nice, but no, but I totally I have used that too as a way of just
Yeah.
chatting something out. It's helpful. And even just to
Yes.
say the words, and it's like almost like journaling, but
Yeah.
like out loud in an
Yeah.
auditory way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you feel that your hand can't write fast enough because of the thoughts, just have a chatty,
that's
and then get it
right.
off your chest, and then it's
Yeah.
done. Spend the emotion, right? Yeah.
Look at the transcript later if you want.
Yes. I go. Oh my God, delete.
Yeah.
But it's off your chest. It's no longer in your bucket,
Totally.
which is the most
Yeah, it's not
important thing.
blocking things anymore. Like it's
Yes.
not stopping your energy or your chi flowing.
Yes.
Yeah. It's out of
I
your
think,
system.
one of the things, let's look at it in the old days. We were incredibly physical. We were lifting and
Hmm.
carrying and plowing and this and that. And
Yeah.
so we were constantly in the move. And
Yeah.
you kind of look at it, didn't they have aches and pains and this and that? And it's like, I'm sure they did, but they also were kind of more, I don't know, geared for it. But
Yeah.
we've become now, I spend way too many hours sitting in this seat because this is my business here,
This is
right?
your job.
And then,
Yeah.
if when I have grandkids, they're, generally
Yeah.
jumping all over me or burying me or doing something, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but we've got to find something that replaces the stagnancy and be physical. And not everybody can go out and do what they used to do, back in the old
Hmm.
days. So just
Hmm.
like that movement you did with the breathing and the arms and the stumping of the feet, there's a lot of techniques that we can do that can just get the circulation going,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And get the
Yeah.
body, because it needs to be productive.
It does. It does. And I know even some people that I've worked with are so immobile or they have so much pain that they might not even be able to do
Yeah.
that kind of movement. So there's a ton of research about how powerful visualization can be too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
even if you were having to sit at your computer all day, you could imagine doing movement, and the imagining of the movement is still firing all the same neural pathways
Yeah.
as doing the movements themselves. You're just not getting the actual movement from
Right.
happening, but it can preserve the pathways so that when you are ready to do it, they're
Hmm.
still there. They haven't atrophied. So
Yes.
I'd say imagine that walk or imagine the run. Imagine the
Yes.
things that you want to be able to do. I love doing mirror therapy for that, where you're
Mm.
hiding an injured side and you're getting someone to watch the reflection.
Mm.
I love the visualization when even sometimes people are watching the reflection of their unaffected side and it hurts this side. And
Ah.
that's that mind-body connection, which is so mind-boggling
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
because you're like, how can that be possible? But the power that is there is, I think that's just an amazing example of it.
Yeah. We're all wiring, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah,
I
lots
mean,
of electrical impulses.
exactly. And so the whole thing about those electrical impulses, we want them firing on the right cylinders. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the ticket.
And so if we don't have them firing on the right cylinders, then, that's when it starts causing problems. And that you can have somebody who has a physical injury and it affects them emotionally,
Yeah.
right? and it causes stress in their life. You can have people have stress in their life that causes physical problems. The whole point
Mm-hmm.
back to that balance is that when
Mm-hmm.
something does happen, emotional, physical, traumatically, address it so that
Yes,
you can bring
yes.
back your balance. If you need the therapy, physiotherapy, you go and do it, but you make sure that your mind is engaged with it as well, so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you are working as a system.
Agreed. Like there needs to be some kind of pattern interrupt or break in the
Mm.
cycle so that you can do something different. You don't just
Yes,
continue to go down the same pathway that you are used to doing and you know how it goes. I mean, what is it? The definition of insanity is doing the
yes,
same thing over and over again and expecting something different. So do
yeah,
something even a little bit different, like change the way that you think about it, change
yeah.
the way that your body feels when you do it. I love Joe Dispenza's work for that, where it's like he says our personalities are our personal realities, so we are making them in our mind, and then what we believe or perceive is what we project out into the world. So if you think everyone sees you as a certain way, then you are going to act as
Hmm.
that person, and then it becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And
Yes.
all of it is just like, yeah, that connection between mind and body. Yeah, it's undeniable. It's so strong.
You see it over and over again of somebody, you'll never walk again, you'll never do this
Yes.
again. And then so they're
Yes.
not only walking, they're skating, skiing, running, this
That's
and that.
right.
And
Yeah.
it's, um, there's going to be somebody I'm going to be interviewing. There's somebody who told me about that. She has the brittle bone disease,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she's an Olympian athlete. She's had
Amazing.
over 100 bones broken, but she carries a kit with her. So when she breaks a bone, she knows what to do.
That's
And, she's
incredible.
going to finish her career in the next Olympics physically, but she didn't want to let
Wow.
it get in her way. And that is the muscular structure
Yeah.
supporting her bones. If she
Yeah.
didn't have that muscular and everything else supporting it, then the bones would just fall to pieces like Skittles.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I think that's probably some of the most incredible work that people do. Like you said, healing from these catastrophic
Yeah.
injuries, because how can I say this? I don't know. Basically, our thoughts. So say you thought, I'm never going to get better. For
Hmm.
most people, that's not a very encouraging thought.
No.
So it could produce some kind of stress response in your
Yeah.
system, whether that's short-term adrenaline or long-term cortisol. And then that cortisol is pro-inflammatory. So then that sits in your tissues and you're not getting as good blood flow or oxygen exchange as you would be if you decided to change, well, maybe it's possible for me to recover. And you started to imagine what it would be like to recover. And that will fire
Yeah.
an entirely different set of pathways, release different hormones, create different enzymes, and those could be healing for you. And you know, different genes would be expressed to create those physiological changes in your
Yes.
body. So why wouldn't you want to do that? That's a loaded
Exactly.
question.
No, I mean that's the point, isn't it? It is it's the working together. The whole
Hmm.
system needs to work together. And if we don't work together, and I will be honest, there are days, like last week, I got hit with a fibro attack, and as much as I wanted to do
Mm.
things, I couldn't. It flattened me.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah,
there are, times I say to five people, we're in partnership together. All right.
totally.
You've got to let me do this, and then I will hear you when you're having a bad time, and I'll give you the rest. So,
Hmm.
I just had to cancel things and just take that
Yeah,
time, to
yeah,
sleep and rest and give it what it needed. And I think that's the
yeah.
thing is we're being encouraged, no, push through. And I don't know if you remember that show about that weight loss where they took people to 300 pounds
Oh,
and
The Biggest Loser.
yes, and
Yes.
that's so backfired on them because
Uh-huh.
the psychological thing for people, even though they lost weight, they most of them gained it back again because it was a sense of bullying, which they're now realizing
Hmm.
was very, very
Hmm.
negative. It
Hmm.
doesn't. People do not respond out of people
Yeah,
sergeant majoring them,
yeah,
right? Uh,
yeah.
and especially if it comes into the healing modality, we do need somebody that's firm but gentle,
Right.
understanding but encouraging.
Right. I think you summed it up really well when you said we have to be in partnership with our
Yeah.
body because nobody can be on or doing amazing things all the time. Like you
No.
have to honor your capacity for needing rest or needing quiet time or whatever it is for yourself so that you can recover and then go and do the things you need to do. And I totally have been and continue to be guilty of pushing beyond that capacity and then eventually like, oh man, okay, I need to learn not to do that anymore and like sleep proper hours and all that kind of thing.
So
So,
in other words, you're not doing what you tell your clients to do.
oh yeah, not all the time. I do try. There is effort, I promise.
And it does take time to repattern, to
Yeah.
reprogram,
Oh,
especially if
totally.
you are that people pleaser, you are that person that likes to give and heal and help.
Hmm.
You do have to set boundaries,
Yep.
where you do say no, or like, no, I really need to honor myself right now.
Yep.
And, the universe worked with me last week to a point,
Yeah.
because one of the people I was interviewing, who won my free interview,
Mm.
she got really, really sick and ended up in hospital.
Oh
And then I
no.
had a 92-year-old that was coming to see me and stay with me. But instead of coming on the Friday, she arrived on the Tuesday.
Oh,
And so I'm driving her around and doing things. And I don't know how I got through those 3 days. But then all the
oh,
other days, my daughter didn't need me. And
perfect.
so, things worked out really, really well. So
Yeah.
um, it it was like, okay, the universe is with me, giving me permission,
There you
right?
go. There you go.
So
Yeah. I know. I hear you with the boundaries. Sometimes I think that's where I fall. I fall down often because I'm like, oh, I want to help someone. Maybe it's not the best for me to do that or be in that situation, but you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. And like you said, it's living and learning,
yeah,
helping to inform future decisions. Ugh.
yes, yes, and that, paying attention. It's
Hmm.
um. Hold on one second. Like So we just had an interruptus with one of my guests that's meant to be on next week, kind of coming in a week early. So because he's from out of Australia, rather than leaving him in limbo, we took him and said hello, introduced the two of them, and said, "It's next week, darling." Oh my goodness! And so, this is the thing about life. We get so uptight about, no, we don't
Yeah.
need to do that. Just address it. Just address it. All right. Why do we have to make such a big deal out of something? He got the wrong date. We addressed it in the middle of a show. And,
Hmm.
but the example of that is that stop sweating the small stuff.
Yes, and I think when you say it like that, you realize, oh yeah, it's not actually as big of a deal as I was making
No.
it in my mind.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
fine. Nobody actually cares.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's why, part of the problem is that we're so scared of what somebody else will say.
Yes.
Right? Somebody
Hmm.
else's judgment, somebody else is this, somebody else doesn't do it that way. No, your journey is to find out who you are and do whatever you're doing your way. That's what
Hmm.
people need from
Hmm.
you is your way, not
Yeah.
somebody else's.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
You realize that physiotherapy as it wasn't enough. You wanted to address, the mind and the spirit of everybody in it as well. And like, I can't just heal part of them. I need to understand and have them understand more whole of them. And so
Hmm.
not only did you go out in the search to help your own clientele, but in doing so, helped yourself as well. But you
Absolutely.
could have just accepted, well, that's it, we have to just refer, instead of like, no, I'm going to do more about this. You've got me intrigued now. So I got
Yeah.
to do my own research. And isn't that
Oh.
what we should do?
I think it is. Oh man, I would say probably the people who I love talking to the most are also lifelong learners and they get
Mhm.
really passionate about something and they go down a rabbit hole and yeah, I think that drive to like learn more and be better to help other people is like part of what makes life so much more like rich and interesting.
Yes. I mean, please
Yeah.
do not, rest on your laurels and status quo. I don't care how old you are.
No.
I don't care what your
Yeah.
status is in life.
Yeah.
Be willing to learn. Be willing to
Yeah.
grow. There is always something out there that
Hmm.
is going to, pique your interest. Follow it through, whether it's just
Hmm.
reading about it because you just want to know the knowledge or doing something about it. Just please do not just sit there, because that's when you start to ferment,
Sure.
right? And the
Yeah.
mosquitoes start buzzing around you.
And nobody wants mosquitoes buzzing
No,
around them. Oh, that'd be
no,
itchy all the time.
exactly. Yes. So we don't need that. So I
No,
think it's like, again, back to this particular genre of show called Your Health is Your Choice. If something isn't working for you, be willing to try something else.
yeah, yeah,
And if you don't understand it, well, you'll get to understand it as you go through the process. If it's still not for you, then you can move somewhere else. But now you know more, right?
absolutely.
So,
Yeah,
so give it a try,
I know. And you've said that too. Like you don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. Like
right?
you can maybe contribute a little bit to somebody's journey, but they don't
You
they
might
take
not
what
be the
they
be
need.
all. Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
take what they need and they leave the rest. Or
yes,
maybe you see, oh, this would actually maybe help you more. And that's fine. I
yeah.
think getting stuck in the like, oh no, I'm going to take it personally that they
Mm,
left. No, I think it's just recognize that everyone has their own journey and see how you can possibly support them along the way and get them to where they want to be. Like that's the important part.
yes, most certainly the important part. And I think we need to get over ourselves a little bit, you know.
Yeah, oh, the ego part. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, you can have pride, you can stand tall in who you are,
Totally.
absolutely embrace it.
Hmm.
But when that ego of insecurity comes in,
I know.
then it's something that really, quite honestly, just is going to get in your way.
Yes, it's
So,
going to bite
yeah,
you in the end.
a big bite, a big
Yeah.
bite, yeah. And so really, really important. So like you've got clients, you work in Nanaimo. So do you work with
Hmm.
people also online? Obviously, physiotherapy is hands-on, but do you
Hmm.
work online with people? Just purely work hands-on? How do you work?
I currently work at a clinic part-time. I do so this is for physiotherapy. Part-time at a clinic, I do mobile or home visits or, care facility office visits part-time. And then I do coaching online as well. So actually, the physio, I have done a fair amount of physio online. From the pandemic, we all got a
Mm,
taste of how it
yes.
would be to address like assessments and treatments with people virtually. So a lot of the nervous system regulation work is quite good that way. And you can get a fair amount of information, even from someone on their own, or if they have someone with them to do some like muscle strength testing or passive techniques. Like you can teach people's families or friends how to do it, even if they aren't local. But I think in person I always love the in person
Yes.
anyway. Like it just
Yeah.
feels like you can get a better sense of somebody and connect with them. So it's a trade-off for the
Yeah.
coaching. I like to
Yeah.
be able to offer it wherever, but it is still nice to be in the same room as somebody else.
Yes. So,
Hmm.
wherever you are,
Hmm.
there is a solution. But of course, if you're in the
Yeah.
Nanaimo or region base,
Yeah.
right, you can come and get the whole package. So,
Oh, so fun. Yeah. If this is interesting to you, I'd love to meet you.
exactly. And, the whole thing about, what you're doing is because you're addressing the whole of a person, you're also educating them how to address themselves, right? You're educating them on caring for themselves, because it's not that we don't want to care for ourselves, it's very often we don't know what to do, or we're
Yeah.
unaware. I say,
Yeah.
when you're aware you care, when you care you do something about it, but you can't be unaware.
Right.
So right,
Right.
it's like some people will just do yoga or just do this or just do that, and it's like, well, I can't get
Yeah.
down on the ground. you know
Right.
all right, there might
Yeah.
be chair yoga, but maybe yoga's not for you. What else is there
Yeah.
out there? And the more you investigate and try things out and explore, the more you go, this is a fit, or I like
Mm.
this person. I feel not only do they see my chi or block chi, but they see
Yeah.
me, and
Yes.
so I feel attended to, right?
Yes.
So but we
Oh,
ourselves have got to be the ones to search for that, hence the reason for these podcasts.
there you go. Yeah. No, for sure. I think if you become, I guess it's that stages of change. If you can't know you can't even be in the contemplative stage of change if you have no idea that there is a problem. So
Right.
you have to become problem aware before any kind of
Yeah.
solution might present itself. And wanting to make that change is a big part of it too. So yeah, if somebody is stuck and I often see this where someone has been fine up until a certain point, and maybe they have an injury or an accident, and then they try everything.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, it's like they just want to throw something at the wall and see what
Yes.
sticks. And then over time, they get to parse out, okay, maybe this is more helpful for me than that, or I don't need to do all of these things as often as I'm
Yes.
doing. And I think part of it is, again, like going from that unknowing or the uncertainty to like coming back to trusting and creating that relationship with you within your body and yourself to go, okay, I don't, yes, I can learn from these people, but I also get to be the expert of myself without
Mm,
blindly following, because I don't think
exactly.
that's a great solution.
And then again, where we talk about partnership with yourself and your health,
Yeah,
when you have a client that is working with you and you're working with them, that's a partnership, right?
totally.
But you've
Yeah.
got to bring yourself and
Hmm.
what, your part of it into it, not just the body and say, fix it, right?
Yes.
You've got to work with someone that's willing to work with you in
Yes.
order to optimize. So it is that willingness to, I'll give it a try, right? And see how it works, but then paying attention to how it works, right?
Hmm.
Because then you go, oh God, I really feel a significant difference.
Yeah.
Can I do more of this, or should we explore more of this? Because it's working. And then it gets to a point, okay, it's working, but I notice there's something else I need to address, and maybe I need to try something else there. And that's the thing. It just gives you such an insight into yourself and whom can help you, but
Hmm.
mostly how we can help ourselves.
Yes. Oh, and I love it when people come in and they're so curious and they want to learn and then they're like, "Oh, this reminds me of doing this." And they'll come back and say, "The way that I found it most helpful to do this exercise was combining it with this other thing that I already did or
Yeah.
knew." And I'm like, "Oh, that's amazing. Like make it your own." Of
Yes.
course.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is no black and white. You must do it this way. You
No.
you've
No,
got to do
no.
it, to the way that yes, we do want you to push yourself. Try a little more each time. Try a little more each time, but don't push yourself to the point of breaking more.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There is none of that. But it
Yeah.
is very much about, I've achieved this. What else can I do? Can I extend it a
Mm-hmm.
little bit? Can I do a bit more of this? Can I do a bit more of
Yeah.
that? And
Yeah.
just willing to trust yourself by hearing yourself and what you feel
Yeah.
you can do.
Yeah, taking that like experimental approach where you get to
Mm,
be your best case study, your best
yeah.
patient. Like that's so fun.
Yes. Yes. And there's always somebody there to help you on your way. We're not asking you to do it blind, deaf, and dumb. We're asking you to
Right.
see, hear, and feel by listening to your own body, listening to your own thoughts, listening to your own psyche, and finding
Mhm.
that someone that can work with you where you're at.
Mhm.
Right. And that,
Mhm.
because it is a certain amount of vulnerability, both emotionally and physically.
For
And you want
sure.
somebody
Yeah.
that you can feel truly cares, that
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
has your best interests. And you
Yeah.
know it. You can feel it from you from the first time I met you, right? So
Oh, that's
you're
nice.
in the right field because you really care about your people, and them almost get to a point not needing you anymore.
That's the goal. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. That is totally the goal. But no,
Uh-huh.
I hear you. And you are very nurturing yourself too in the way that you speak and you're supportive in these conversations is lovely. So obviously you are also doing a fantastic job of this facilitating this whole process.
I feel the good souls. I know where they are. I know how to feel them. So, and the cat's never wrong.
The cat wants his own screen time.
Yes, yeah. I'm here for my close up.
Yep. Look at my little tail. Admire me.
So of course, if people are in Nanaimo, yes, the hands-on. If people just want to go through, the counseling side of it, and you can help them through some certain modalities online, there's
Yeah.
that as well. So I know you've got a gift for us, for our people.
Mhm.
So uh, tell us what the gift is, and then please share your website and your social medias.
Okay, so the gift is this video and PDF combo called Overcoming Overwhelm. So if you have been feeling stuck, it takes more of that nervous system regulation approach so that you can learn how to assess where your baseline is, apply a tool, and then go back and see what shifted for you so that you can start, if you like, if you're able to get a positive response from those tools, start to rewire them very consistently on a day-to-day basis. So if you think of that bucket, you're lowering threat in your
Mm.
system or in that bucket and helping to redirect those automatic pathways into something else. So if you were going to have a stressful situation come up and you were planning on a conversation with someone, you could start doing one of those tools before it happens so that ideally you can show up differently and closer to how you want to in that situation. Um,
Catch things before they get out of control.
yeah, so kind of stopping the spiral and
Mm.
allowing you to feel more grounded and within yourself. I feel like that's a very important thing to be able to do in our busy and somewhat hectic lives. So
Yes.
there's that. And then if you wanted to go to my website, it's www.charlottema.com. There are different resources there, including links to other podcasts where in some of them I've gone through different tools like the chicken breathing
Yes.
meditation as well. If you wanted to check on social media, I will go through and post about events that are happening as well as different tools and insights. So on Instagram and YouTube, it's Rewire with Charlotte. And then, oh, also on TikTok. Oh man, TikTok is not my platform. I never actually reply to messages on TikTok. If you want to message me, please do not use TikTok, but you can either go through my website and email me, or Instagram, or Facebook is Thrive Wellness Nanaimo.
Right. And of course, you're linked on as well, the Charlotte
That's
Ma.
right, I forgot. Yes.
Yes. And of course, for the people listening, her name is CharlotteMah.com. And if you come to her show page here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com and put in her name, Charlotte Ma, you will see the free offer here that you can click on and download. And of course, you can listen and reach out to her anywhere on the show page. Um,
Mhm.
and, I feel that we're kind of in a world at the present moment where everybody's screaming, but nobody's being heard.
Mhm.
It's like the silent scream, and no one's hearing it because everybody's screaming at the same time. And,
Yeah.
things have to reach a crescendo. Things have to be at that worst, the calm before the storm. Well, this is the storm before the calm.
Oh.
And so we've got a storm out there right now, and maybe another couple of years before we start things seeing settle down. But the invitation is for us to bring the peace we seek by
Yeah.
becoming the peace we seek. Be the
Hmm.
love we seek by becoming the love
Mm.
we seek. And we are then the solution and the tranquilization of the
Yeah.
planet in itself. But we need help along the way, both emotionally, physically, mentally, for
Hmm.
people that can see us in a way that we can't and that can help give us the skills and the tools to apply. My
Hmm.
mottos with these shows are listen, learn, and apply. I hope you
Oh.
listened today. There was an awful lot to learn, and I hope you apply it. And I hope you reach out to Charlotte, whether you are from afar and you just want to do the Zoom calls and have a chat, or whether you're in beautiful Nanaimo, BC, Vancouver Island, um, and physically come and have the whole treatment. And of course, her boss behind her over her shoulder there.
That's Nico. Yep. He'll
Yeah.
be managing all of my social media accounts. So you'll be
Meow,
going
meow,
through
meow,
him.
meow. So you're on TikTok, but do you have a video platform or is TikTok your video platform?
YouTube and Instagram as well. So
Okay.
Rewire with Charlotte is my handle on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok.
Okay, great. So we'll
Yeah.
make sure those
Oh.
links are there as well. And so if you wanted to pick up a tidbit, go there and
Mhm.
listen. Again, it's about she's putting herself out there to help you wherever you are. So it's not just a question of listen and forget. need to
Yes.
listen, learn, and apply. Even
Oh, I love
just
it.
that sheer breathing exercise we did today. Do it
Hmm.
every single day, 2 or 3 times through the day, and just see how it fits, right?
Stomp
I
it
mean,
out. Oh, it's so good.
yeah. So, the thing is, we always look for something complicated and highfalutin and expensive. Very often it's the simplicity that works, but
Hmm.
it's somebody knowing what that simplicity is, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
you may not know it because it's not your forte. It is hers, and it's also her passion and her
Yeah.
calling. So reach out because she's got you. Okay.
Aw, thank you so much, Sarah. This was so much fun. I love
Yeah.
chatting with you.
Yes, we went out for coffee and well, 2 or 3 hours later.
Oh dear, what time is it? Oh, how did that
Very easy to
happen?
talk to.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, we had so much to talk about, like we did in this show, but it's like
Hmm.
help is there, folks. Help
Yeah.
is there. And do not treat your physical as just being physical. There's an
Yeah.
emotional, there is um, almost an
Mental.
environmental,
Yeah.
whether the external, and there are the traumas that you haven't dealt with. There's so much. And when you start unraveling one by one, then you start seeing your whole body and everything heal. But you
Hmm.
cannot do one over the other. They have to be worked in together.
Oh, yes. Well said. Very well said. Hmm. Thank you. Thank you. This was lovely.
Yeah, right back at you, love. It's been a delight having you here. And, remember, folks, health is our choice. But when we make the choice to investigate who can help us, what is it that we need? And we open up our minds and open up our hearts to exploring. And it's not about the pill or cutting something out or chopping something off. There are so many mediums out there that can help you. And there's that willingness to explore what. And you taking onus of your own health as well and working together with someone, you will then see the results. So thank you, Charlotte, and to everyone else. Catch you next time. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tab at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.